and welcome to episode number 7 of The Chop with Marvin Lee. Tonight, I hope that my guest is going to show up. If not, we're going to have a good time together, as we always do. This microphone is getting on my nerves, but that's okay. Anyways, tonight, what I want to talk about is trusting your heart. Trusting your heart. A lot of times, um, we're faced with difficult decisions, challenges, and sometimes not even difficult decisions. We're just faced with decisions, and we act as if we don't know what we should do. And again, the reason I want to talk about trusting your heart is because again, we know what to do, but for whatever reason, we lack the courage, the wherewithal, the fear, whatever it is, it prevents us from trusting our hearts and acting on the thing that we know we should act on. So I want to read something really quick, something that I saw on IG. We're just going to jump in. We're going to go like we always do. And this reads as follows: Trust your heart. So much suffering comes from resistance toward a decision your heart knows is right for you. So much suffering comes from resistance toward a decision your heart knows is right for you. So that tells me that suffering is optional, but we'll talk on that a little later on. Yet, when you resist what is true for you, difficulties ensue to try to get you back on your divine path. Difficulties ensue to try to get you back on your divine path. Trust your heart. Your fear might convince you that it's better to stay put than make a change. This is why so many people become comfortable in their own discomfort. Yet, stagnancy leads to dis-ease, which can eventually lead to disease. Your heart will never guide you astray. I got to read that again. This is why so many people become comfortable in their own discomfort. Yet stagnancy leads to dis-ease, which can eventually lead to disease. Your heart will never guide you astray. Again, we always know what it is that we need to do. We may have some fear or whatever, but your heart will never, 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 never guide you astray. There's a reason things are difficult. Life is inviting you to step up, make a change, and move forward. Trust this, trust life, trust your heart, and make the change. Now, with all that I just read, I want to talk about something that a personal testament for myself um, in regards to what I just read. When we get off the path, when we get off of our divine path, we resist what is true for us. Okay, we're resisting what is true for us. So let me make this personal. I resisted what was true for me. And when I resisted what was true for me, difficulties ensued. Then you may ask yourself, Marvin, what is it that you're talking about? Again, there are plenty of people. I don't mind sharing my story with people. I've suffered from addiction, from the disease of addiction. Again, remember, I say suffering is optional. It is not mandatory. It is not something that is required. It is something that I will face if I don't listen to my heart, if I don't trust my heart. But I worked in the substance abuse industry. I have a little over 4.5 years clean now. And I was working in the substance abuse industry. And I had been, again, my clean date, March 18th, 2019. So as soon as I had 13 months clean, which is April of 2020, I started working in the substance abuse industry. So from that time, um, I've been in treatment. I've been giving back. I've served in different capacities or what have you. But it's something that I've done because I felt like that was my calling. That was a part of my purpose. Because earlier in one of the episodes I recorded, I think it was the first one, maybe the second, I don't remember. But when you stand in your power, you stand in your purpose. And I had this innate desire to give back to people that have dealt with the things that I have dealt with. Again, substance abuse, mental health. I've suffered from, I had some mental illness that I dealt with. And I, even up until this day, I take mood stabilizers. So again, from that time, early 2020 or mid 2020, April, the first part of 2020, I've been in substance abuse up until this past December. And the reason that I made the decision this past December to leave the industry, it wasn't so much about the money. I've never been one of those people that I take a position because of the money, because money is not everything. All money is not good money. Um, money can't make you happy. That's what they say. And if that's what you feel, if that's what you think, it might not buy you happiness, but it can get you close. And if that's how you feel, transfer all of your money from your bank account, transfer it to mine, and I'll let you see how happy I am. But anyways, again, I never do anything just for the money. I have to have a sense of purpose. I have to have a sense of fulfillment based on what it is that I'm doing, because what I'm doing when I'm serving, the capacity of service that I'm putting forth, the individual that I'm serving, they're doing more for me than I'm doing for them. And so again, I made the decision this past December to leave the treatment industry, and I started working for an insurance company, doing like going into retirement homes. And what I was doing was so not what I was meant to do. And from the time that I decided to leave the industry, from December, I just went back into the treatment industry this past August, actually August 8th. It was a couple of days after my birthday. And I said all that to say this: I got off the divine path. And when I tell you about the amount of difficulties that I faced from December until August of just this past year, and I'm still coming through the tail end of those difficulties. When I tell you that life became so challenging, life became so difficult, life became so, I'm not going to say unmanageable. It was manageable, but I was facing a lot of self-inflicted wounds, that I was walking wounded because of things that I had done. But from the moment that I made the decision to get back on my divine path, I listened to my heart. I got back on my divine path. Now all of a sudden, it seems like the world has just opened up to me. The amount of love that I feel for people has improved. My gratitude has improved. My mental clarity has improved. My spiritual awareness has, everything that I have been seeking on the higher consciousness level. It seems as if I'm just gliding through life. That's how it feels now. I know that's not the reality of the situation. However, my truth is what I make it, because I create my reality. And as a result of creating my reality, I have the power within me to create my truth. And what that means is, if I live from within, I'm a spirit that possesses a soul and I have a body. I live from within. Everything that I need to create comes from within. So the challenges that I may face in life, the difficulties that I may face in life, the solution comes from within. Now, I said all that to say this: because I dared to believe and to trust my heart, and heed the calling of that unfulfilled void, that loneliness that I felt as a result of getting off my divine path. Because once I left the thing that I was doing, that means I disconnected with my purpose. And where there's a disconnection from purpose, there is a lack of passion. Or there was a lack, for me, there was a lack of a flow of passion. So I still felt the passion, but when I'm trying to flow in the wrong arena with the right thing, things are not working the way that they should work. It was like a little trickle of water from a faucet. But the moment that I made the switch and I got back into the industry that I knew I was destined to be in the first place, serving other people who have been afflicted by the same things that I myself had suffered. If you show me your pain, I will show you your purpose. It is in the midst of the pain that we begin to understand who we really are as individuals. So once I got back on the divine path, again, it's like a whole, I'm not trickling like that little water faucet with a little trickle. I am now flowing like a mighty river, right? And I feel that fulfillment all over again. And it's almost like I picked up right where I left off. And not only did I pick up where I left off, but I am moving beyond the place that I was. I feel different than I've ever felt. I'm able to do more than I've ever done. Honestly, my work ethic seems to have improved, and that is big for me. I am not a morning person. I tell people I am a vampire. I am up late at night. Coincidentally, I read something that said, people with high IQs stay up late at night. So yeah, that's why I'm intelligent. My lack of sleep. Just saying. I don't know. I've always been that way. I'm a night owl. I'm a night owl. I'm a child of the moon. It's something about the nighttime hour for me. That's when I do a lot of my self-reflecting. That's when I do a lot of, soul searching, that solitude. But I said all that again to say that by trusting my heart, I have that sense of peace again. I have that sense of ease. Now, I remember the chaos and all the discomfort that ensued when I made that decision to leave treatment. It's as if I knew that I was supposed to be serving in that capacity because there are people who not only needed me, but there were people who I needed. When there is a calling, a divinely appointed calling, and there is an intended audience for that calling, unless that calling is being directed towards that particular audience, it does not matter. You will not feel fulfilled. There will be a disconnect. There will be that dis-ease that can eventually lead to disease. Um, and I'm grateful that I was honest enough with myself uh, to acknowledge that I wasn't happy, to acknowledge that I missed being in the industry and missed being connected with other addicts and individuals that were dealing with their mental health because it pulled something out of me and something that I've come to understand through my years of wisdom is that I'm able to I'm not a healer. Let me just be the first to say that I am not a healer. However, I do have a gift that has it's a divinely uh, appointed gift to be able to connect with other people and to tap into their energy and unlock their healing. And it does something for me at the same time because I know how to heal. I know how to tap into the vibration of another individual, the frequency of another individual, the energy of another individual, and unlock rather that healing. Because again, remember we've talked about this. Healing begins at the moment that a person feels heard, or healing begins the moment that a person feels seen. And my purpose is to allow um, you to be seen, to allow you to be heard, because somebody allowed me to be seen. Somebody allowed me to be heard, and it showed me that I had value. In the moment that I could see myself the way that somebody else saw me, again, I felt valued, and I began my process of healing. So that the fear, that underlying fear that has been present throughout most of my life and has prevented me from, doing the things that I knew I wanted to do, like this podcast, for example. One of the things that I always feared is I'm going to fail, I'm going to fall flat on my face, and it's not going to be this, and it's not going to be that, and I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. And, there were so many excuses that I came up with that prevented me from trusting my heart. Again, I don't look at how many people watch, how many views I get. I don't look at any of that right now because I am a person of faith. I may start small, but I will not stay small. I'm going to say that again. I may start small, but I will not stay small. Uh, I have something, that it factor that I have been given, and I want to shine my light on this world. I want to have an impact on this world because we don't change the world by changing the world. We change the world by changing one person or touching one person at a time. So I moved past the fear. I finally trusted myself enough to know I have the courage to face anything that may stand in my path. That the thing that's in my way, the obstacle that is in my way, is actually a blessing sent to sharpen me. Things don't happen to me. Life doesn't happen to me. Things, life, happen for me. And what that means is I'm being groomed for greatness, or I'm being groomed for greater. You're being groomed for greatness. You're being groomed for greater. Um, the perspective has to be one as such as that I realize that um, I can either be a victim or I can be a victor. If life is happening to me, I'm taking the victim mentality. If life is happening for me, I'm standing in the victor's mentality. I'm allowing myself to learn the lessons that I need to learn. I'm accumulating wisdom. I make mistakes. I understand that I'm not perfect and I'm going to make mistakes. And it is okay to make mistakes. That is how I know that I learned. Once I have made a mistake and the cycle is about to repeat itself and I make a different choice the next time around, right? I step up, I rise to the occasion, I move beyond the lesson because I've learned it. I've passed the test because life gives us the test first and the lesson comes after. When we are in school, we get the lesson first and then we get the test to make sure that we mastered the subject matter before we can move on. Well, again, life doesn't happen like that. Life says, you know what? Let me give you the test first, and then I'm going to give you the lesson after this. I've learned how to persevere through some things. I've learned how to uh, harvest my faith. I've learned how to uh, become aware. I've learned how to walk in love. I've learned how to serve. I've learned how to keep people from pulling me out of my power. I've learned um, that my life is what I make it. Again, I created everything, all the building blocks that I need for my life are contained within. I have no excuse. I can't blame anything or anybody if I don't make it. I can't blame anything or anybody for my life because I have the capability, I have the ability, I have the capacity, I have the perseverance, the stamina, whatever. I have what it takes to create the life that pleases me. Now, with that being said, sometimes our truth, when I stand in my truth, it may offend some other people, and that's okay. I'm going to stand in my truth anyways because my truth is my truth. My truth might piss you off. I'm not responsible for how you feel. I am responsible for living my truth, standing in my truth, serving from a place of my truth. I can't be, I've always heard the quote, to thine own self be true. And I love that and try to live by that. It's not saying that I'm selfish to the point that I don't consider other people. I consider my core values. I consider my beliefs. I stand in my truth, the things that work for me. And from that place, now I move in service, in love, in gratitude toward other people. And having done so, I've been able to have an impact and to make an impact and to have influence with other people because I refuse to fall down and quit. Somebody else stands up. Somebody else is able to stand tall. My struggle has become somebody else's survival guide. And it makes me feel, it builds my confidence. I had low self esteem. I had, and still have insecurities, but they're not as they're not as dominant to me as they once were. Again, I know who I am. I know what I believe. I know why I believe what I believe. I know why I am who I am. And I understand that the mistakes that I've made in the past don't define me. The mistakes that I've made in the past have been my teacher. They guide me. I'm grateful for every misstep. I am grateful for every misfortune. I am grateful for everything negative that has happened in my life because the flip side of the coin was for the negative, there was a positive. Where there was hopelessness, there's hope. Where there was darkness, there's light. Where there was chaos, there's peace. Where there was hatred, there's love. Where there was fear, there's faith. I have understood, or I have come to understand, that I am who I am because I choose to be who I am. I choose to acknowledge that there is something greater than me that has created me to be this version of me, and I continually seek to improve upon myself. I honor this version of who I am. Every version that has come before me and the versions that come after me, I stay present, grounded in this moment because this is all I have, and I'm able to acknowledge myself for who I am. I'm able to acknowledge that power greater than myself that I choose to call God. Because I understand that I was made with divine intention. God made me. God delightfully made me. God excitedly made me. Not only did He make me, but He made me in His image and in His likeness, right? Um, and I was reading something that said the word enthusiasm, and I don't want to misquote this, but it was basically saying enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm contains or means of or having the life of God, lowercase g, or big G, but basically we're smaller. Even in the Bible, it says that, and I can take you to that scripture, but this is not a religious podcast. But again, I have a religious upbringing, so there's some things that the boy knows. But at any rate, what I'm trying to say is, and this is how I believe. I speak my truth. I speak my reality. I create by speaking. Um, and the enthusiasm that I was created with is in me. That enthusiasm never went anywhere. If I was made with divine intention, the excitement that went into making me, the delight that went into making me is still present. It is just as present today as it was when I was created. In fact, there was so much excitement and so much delight when I was created that my creator said, I'm delighted in you and you alone. I'm not going to make another copy. Let me throw away the mold because I've outdone myself with you. And I look at things in that light because if the God of my understanding, he was intentional in creating me. He was intentional in creating me with delight. He was intentional in creating me with excitement or out of excitement. He was intentional in creating me with purpose. And not only was he intentional with creating me with purpose, he was intentional in creating me on purpose. So that means I'm not here by mistake. You're not here by mistake. So I take great joy in the fact of knowing that my life, the best of my day or the rest of my days can be the best of my days. From this day forward, as long as I stay in that truth, I stay grounded in that reality, there is nothing that can take away the hope that I have for my future. There is nothing that can take away the faith that I have been given for this life that I am living. I am excited because again, that excitement went nowhere. That excitement is in me. I am delighted. I am delightful. Why? Because that delight has gone nowhere. That delight is still in me. It is present in me. It will never ever cease to exist. It will never ever fade. It will never ever lose its power. And that's why I'm happy today. That's why I'm joyous. And that's why I have walked in freedom because I've been given a purpose and I understand that purpose. And I refuse to allow anything or anybody to move me off of that purpose. I've learned how to trust my heart. I've learned how to listen to my heart. I've learned how to flow with my heart. And we're talking about trusting our heart. Again, I have to go back to this. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. That's in the Proverbs. Again, you can look up the chapter and verse. I ain't got time to be preaching to nobody, but if that's how you feel or what you feel like I'm doing, hey, it is what it is. But at any rate, God himself said, protect your heart. Be mindful about what you hear. Be mindful about what you see. Be mindful how you treat other people. Be mindful. Guard your heart. Because out of it are the issues of life. I can't trust something that's damaged. I can't trust something that's broken. I can't trust something that's grieving. I have to take care of my heart. How do I do that? I practice gratitude. I practice awareness. I practice love. I allow healing to flow. How do you do that, Marvin? Whatever the pain is that I have felt, I understand that the pain has come to teach me a lesson. I let it hurt and I let it heal. I'm going to say that again. I let it hurt and I let it heal. I don't wallow in the mud. I don't have a pity party for myself. I don't get caught up into woe is me, poor me. I can't believe this happened to me. If not you, then who? And if not now, then when? I've been built and chosen to endure the things that I endure. Why? Endurance produces perseverance. Nothing in life is going to come easy. And the thing that's earned easy is lost just as easily. Because I know how to get through some things. I know how to endure through some stuff. I've developed a thick skin for certain things. I'm not cold, I'm not callous or any of that, but I've learned how to harvest the faith to get through any situation. For every problem, there is a solution, but it starts with my attitude towards whatever the problem is. When I realize again that life is happening for me and life is not happening to me, I am saying that I am built for the challenge. I am saying, or I am acknowledging that I am greater, that I'm going from within, so that I don't have to go without. I'm saying that all the stamina, all the strength, all the energy, all of the everything that I need to be able to be victorious in this life, I'm going to tap into what I have, and I'm going to come through this, and I won't look like what I've gone through. Patience. I've learned patience. Patience isn't so much about waiting. Patience is not so much about waiting. Patience is about what is my attitude during the waiting process. Patience, again, is about my attitude during the waiting process. I'm going to wait patiently. I'm going to wait. Uh, I'm gonna wait delightfully. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. That's what I'm gonna do. Um, so again, patience has taught me that my attitude has to be right. And while I'm waiting, I can actively wait. It's not. It doesn't. Patience doesn't imply stillness. Even though sometimes you just have to relax and allow things to come to you. I'm going to share a funny story really quick, but let me finish making this point. Sometimes you have to wait and allow things to come to you. The attitude says, you know what, I got this. Let me go on about my life and do what I need to do. I'm still aware of the thing that I'm being patient for. Like something I used to say, like, you know what, I'm believing for a husband one day. I know he's on the way, but God, can you send me a tracking number or something, as a joke? But guess what? The thing that I'm seeking is seeking me. But if I am actively pursuing that thing, it is funny. I'm pushing it away from me because that anxious and nervous energy is repelling the thing that I'm looking for. Have you ever noticed how if you're trying to, I don't know how many butterfly catchers we have that might be watching this podcast, but I'm just going to use this example. If you ever, have you ever noticed that if you're trying to, or a child or whatever, you see a butterfly and you're excited because you want to catch that butterfly. Every time if you pursue it, you can never catch it. But it seems like the moment you stop that butterfly, it lights on whatever the object is that it lands on, or whatever. Um, and funny story, I play Monopoly Go, and it's crazy because the other night, like I normally play to the point, it's like I want more dice, I want more dice, I want more dice, to the point that I've actually attached my credit card, or my debit card, to my Monopoly Go account. And sometimes I just buy dice. I mean, I got it bad. But anyways, so there's one particular night, it's like I was just tired of playing. It's like I just wanted, I was like, I don't want any more dice. I don't want any more. Like I literally did not want any more dice. And it seemed like the more that I kept saying I didn't want any more dice, I would land on a spot on the board that I would get more dice, or just whatever the case was. And I felt my higher power say to me in that moment, when you relax, it's as if when you feel like you've had enough, that's when the overflow comes. When you're not seeking this thing, that's when the overflow overtakes you. I wasn't acting, it's like I was saying, no more, no more, no more, stop, stop, stop. But the more I was saying stop, the more it was coming. And it's crazy because in that regard, I guess it's true. Opposites attract. I was really not seeking that thing. It's like, but I had relaxed. I had settled into, I want to do this over here, and I was moving on to something else. And as I wanted to move to something else, to focus on something else, the thing that I was trying to move away from, it just kept moving towards me. And I paid attention to that, and I was like, that's how this thing works. So let me just stop trying to win the Florida lottery, and maybe it'll chase me down. I just had to go there with that one. But no, seriously, spiritually speaking, a lot of times that's what happens. Spiritually speaking, is the thing that, because if I trust that it's going to happen, all I need to do is just let it flow to me. I don't need to try to swim towards it or anything else like that. I just need it. It's being drawn to me. If there's a message from the spirits, from God, whatever, there's nothing I need to do to try to make that message speed up to reach me. It is going to reach me. Nothing can hinder it. It will arrive when it's supposed to arrive. But one thing for sure is it's going to arrive. Um, Whatever I need, whatever is assigned to me in this lifetime, whatever is for my spirit. I am going to receive it as long as I stay open. And I have to stay honest, and I have to stay fervent. I have to stay um, aware. I have to be true to me, always walking in honesty, always walking in love. Trust in your heart. It sounds hard, but it's one of the easiest things that we can do. And we owe it to ourselves to follow our hearts. If you don't know how to love yourself, begin honoring yourself. Begin honoring yourself. Again, my guest didn't show up. This has been episode 7 of The Chop with Marvin Lee. And I hate leaving because, again, this is like my favorite time of the week, getting to record with you guys. This is the Chop and Block Studios. Next week will be episode 8. I'm hoping that my guest can be here next week. But again, love yourself this week. Make it a goal, make it a priority to trust your heart. What have you been saying that you want? Seek out, set a goal in your heart this week to say, I'm going to see steps, or I'm going to take strides to make this goal a reality. Trust your heart. Your heart is never going to let you down. It's never going to betray you. Get out of your head, get in your heart. In your head, you're dead. In your heart, you're smart. This has been episode 7 of The Chop with Marvin Lee. I will see you guys next week. I love you all. Thank you for joining me.